Good morning, traders. Gates W. Adams back here with you for another episode today. So as we get into this day, this show, and looking forward to this week, we're moving into the third quarter of 2023, officially October as of today. We have official market time. And we had some news. So as we take a look at what's been going on, of course, over the course of the last quarter, moving into this quarter, we're seeing, we almost had a shutdown. We managed to avoid it, but it looks like we are basically still sitting on a ticking clock for, I believe it was another 75 days. So we're still trying to figure out exactly what's going to happen with all of the debt work from the government. And we managed to avoid the shutdown for now, but there's still work to be done. The markets are absolutely moving around in accordance with that. So we're trying to deal with that. Easy, Mike. Thanks for that. In addition to that, we're still seeing a steady rise on those interest rates. We're seeing mortgage rates just under that 8% mark, which is, the highest I've seen in my memory. Obviously higher than it's been in quite some time at this point. And so we're still trying to figure out what in the world is going to be happening. Now, I saw some speculation that we see some declining rates by the end of the month. It's expectation. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what everything's going to look like. We don't know what the Fed's going to do. So we're sitting here just with those fingers crossed and hoping, more importantly, trying to figure out what the markets are going to do in response to not only the speculation, but when the actual news comes out. The only news that I see moving in the right direction at this point, consistently week after week, month after month, is Apex Trader Funding's payouts. They keep a running 90-day tally of how much has been paid out in the last 90 days. You guys have heard me quote this quite a few times in the show. We hit a new all-time high, which has pretty much been their consistent MO. And we are sitting at over $21 million paid out to traders over the course of the last 90 days, which is unheard of in the industry. And this is on the heels of even some technical difficulties, some structural difficulties that were outside of Apex's control, which they managed to get fixed up very quickly. But it has definitely had some impact on the industry as a whole. And what it doesn't have an impact on is Apex Trader Funding paying money out to traders. So we love seeing that. And we expect to see continued growth and development. In fact, if you haven't seen it right now, through October 5th, they are running the unicorn of sales. Yes, they run a lot of sales, but right now it is 90% off any site's valuation until October 5th, 11:59 p.m. Eastern time. Don't miss that deadline. If you need to add to your portfolio, now is the time to do it. Take full advantage of that. Make sure to use promo code Benzinga when you do that. All of that said, we have an exciting show for you today. So let's move forward and take a look at the Trader Bacon Show.
Welcome to the Trader Bacon Show, where we showcase everyday traders that are getting funded, paid, and bringing home the bacon. Are you ready? Because the Trader Bacon Show starts right now.
Michael, what's going on, my man?
Hey, what's going on, Gates?
Great to see you. You're looking good, man. You've got one of those envy beards. Man,
yes, sir.
awesome
I
to
get
see
that
you
a
on
lot.
here. Well, thanks for sharing some time with us today, man.
Absolutely, man. I'm glad to be here, man. I'm glad to be, in this position at least. So it's an
Well, that's definitely
sure,
the
man.
whole
Thanks.
point. As we start to see those increased payouts by Apex, of course, we start to see many more profitable traders, and we're glad to see you among them. I know you and I had a chance to talk just a couple of months ago, and I know that since then you've had a couple more payouts since that first one. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Awesome.
A few
It looks
more
like
since then. I believe.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Sorry, am I still lagging? Sorry, am I still
A little
lagging
bit
here?
of a lag. A little bit of a lag.
Okay, I'll slow it down just a little bit. But yes, I've had a few payouts since our last meeting.
Awesome. Well, glad to see that upward swing and that upward momentum. That's what we want to see. Just like we see it across the board, that means that individual traders are experiencing that level of success as well. So now, as we kind of just start cutting into everything here and moving into some content, I know you and I talked about a little bit about routines and how you get set up for your day, how you prepare for your day. And your routine is a little bit different. It's not necessarily all chart related. Why don't you share with us your routine before you get started trading?
Absolutely, Gates. I want to see if I can pull this up on the StreamYard link on my phone. Maybe it'll be a little better latency with the connection, because I know it'll make for a better show. But if this is okay, I can continue. Do I still look pretty lagged here?
Let's roll with it and see how we do.
Okay, for sure, man. So anyways, my routine is pretty unchart related. I believe before I actually start taking trades in the market, I'll probably look at the chart, for about 10, 15 actual minutes, doing some type of analysis. But prior to that, I like to get up. I'll do a workout in the morning, usually 30 minutes or 45 minutes. I will then kind of just sit on the patio. I don't usually trade right here. I usually trade right outside on the patio. I like to take in the morning sun, or the air at least. And I'll put my laptop out there, look at the charts after my workout, and see what type of moves I'll make for the day. I usually don't start taking trades till about 7 a.m. Central Standard Time, and usually try and be out not too long after the open.
Gotcha. So you're trading primarily pre-markets. You don't want that action. You don't want that main daily move.
I do actually. I see that. I see that an hour before the market opens. Mm-hmm. In my experience, it's been that the way that I will read price action in the regular market or in the New York session is pretty similar to the way that price action moves an hour before the New York session opens, and except it's a bit slower. So although I will look at the New York session and, paper hands, a lot of trades throughout the New York session, it just refines my price action strategy. And in the pre-market, I can execute a lot more efficiently, because it's a little bit slower, but it's still similar. But, I get to take, in my opinion, a little bit more precise, trades there. But I will still trade the open, literally at the open, or like 2 minutes after the open to about maybe 30 minutes after the open. I like to stop. Unless there's news, then I'll watch out for that as well. But usually just up until about 9 a.m. Central Standard, so 10 a.m. Eastern Standard, I'm trying to be done for the day, the entire day. Yeah.
Gotcha. Now, we're about to jump in and take a look at some of the stuff that you look at. Do we have the charts ready that we can take a look at?
Sure, yeah. I can pull some charts here.
And while we pull that up, just a quick reminder, if you guys, as I guess most of you guys know, we do give away a few Apex Trader funding evaluations. At the end of the show, we've given away 3 of them. Make sure you fill out the form. It'll be in the chat here in just a second. Fill out that form. Get your name in there for a chance to win one of those. That is just a free opportunity to basically unlimited profits. So make sure you fill that out. Take full advantage of that opportunity as well. And if you don't pick one of those up at the end of the day in the giveaway, again, remember they're 90% off right now until October 5th. So we've got until Thursday while we get those charts up. We have some charts ready we can take a look at.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And Jay, we will take a look at what that pre-market looks like here in just a second.
Okay, so how can I share?
Yes, if you want, I can go ahead and share mine, or if you want, pal, you can go ahead and hit present on the bottom of StreamYard, which will then say share screen, and then you can share like a Google Chrome tab if you'd like, pal.
Gotcha. All right, so let's go here.
There you go. Like you've got it up. I'm going to go ahead and share it. You're comfortable with that?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, here we go.
All right. Love live shows. All right, so let's take a look at now. we had the question in the chat, Michael, of what is the strategy that you're looking at pre-market? Because yes, there is absolutely going to be a different dynamic in those hours than you're necessarily going to find in in open session. What does that look like for you?
Can you rephrase it? Are you is the question on my strategy in the pre-market?
Right. Yeah. What are you looking for in terms of movement, or what triggers you into a trade? Considering, of course, that those movement, my guess is the question revolves around the fact that those moves are generally a little smaller in pre-market than they are after open. So, what is it that you're looking for that gives you an opportunity?
Okay. So I scalp mostly. Sometimes I'll take longer entries, but very rarely. So because I scalp, what has worked for me is that I will look at mostly price action, and I will look at levels that I have set on my charts from the weekly and the daily. I will look at liquidity at the 15-minute and the 5-minute, but usually I'm only looking for my setup on the 5-minute and the 1-minute for entry. So the 5-minute, which is what I have, one second here, which is what I have set up here on TradingView, is the 5-minute. I will look for levels of interest that I see on the chart based on my my analysis or what I see, and then I will take scalps in the direction of trend or counter trend, depending on if I believe it's a viable setup for a reversal or a continuation, or if I see momentum coming in, off of like VWAP or a premium or discount level on my chart. So in the pre-market, when I see, for instance, and I'm going to show some examples here in a second, but in the pre-market, if I see, for instance, a heavy demand or supply tested and then rally or sell off from there, and then a retracement back to there, I will look for scalps in the direction of, the long or the short, depending on if it's supply or demand. I will look for, after the retest, I will look for scalps in the direction of where I believe it to be going. If I'm 10 points off on my entry, which is my stop loss on most of my scalps, if I'm 10 points off, I usually don't re-enter the trade unless it sells off or rallies more than like 15 or 20 points thereafter, and then I'll look for signs of exhaustion and price action, and look for a possible reversal there. But instead of this disclaimer that the way that I trade works for me, and it for a lot of people can be a bit risky, because you hear me talk about looking for reversals and things like that, but it's really risky to say, trying to find a top or a bottom, and that's not what I'm trying to do per se. I look for areas of interest in the charts based on analysis that I believe liquidity to be, the institutions, past high market involvement. I guess I'm saying the words wrong. Participation, past areas of high market participation, and then I will look for moves or aggressive moves in those areas. So I am always looking for an aggressive move, but I'm always only looking to take 5 to 10 points in either direction if I'm scalping, and that's plenty enough for me for the type of size that I trade at and the type of analysis that I do. So that's really about it. So.
Now, real quick, do those targets adjust at all if you're trading into the open, or do you still maintain those size levels that you're looking for, those targets?
I still maintain those size levels. So to be to be very transparent, I trade a 10-point stop and a 10-point take profit.
Okay.
I also trade NASDAQ. So whether it's NQ or MNQ, it ranges pretty aggressively, especially at the open and throughout the day. So, and I'm gonna get back to why I find a lot of success in the pre-market. In the actual open and throughout the trading day, you see that NASDAQ ranges pretty hard. So 100, 200, 300 points, 400 points a day is not unnormal. 50, 60, 70 points in 15 minutes is not unnormal either,
Right.
For me at least. So I'm just trying to get 5 to 10 points. And I know that if I can look, in the 15 to 5 minute based on what I've, mentioned earlier, I can scalp at least 5 points, in either way, in either direction before, hitting my stop loss for the day that I set for myself. I can always scalp at least, something out, at least 5 points on the day. If I scalp 5 points on the day, I'm fine. If I scalp, 5 to 10, I'm really good in the long run. So,
sure. Well, and this is absolutely a game of slow and steady wins the race. As we all know, it's absolutely easier to let those moves take control of us versus us taking control of them. And that's one of the, in my opinion, that is absolutely one of the biggest components of being a successful trader. Is managing and maintaining where you need to be and what you're willing to accept on either direction. So, is there something that you wanted to show us here on the charts as far as what you do?
Yes, I want to show you some trades I took this morning. Can you guys see my Ninja Trader up?
We have got, I think that's TradingView.
Okay, let me see if I can reshare this. I want to show you guys exactly what I'm looking at. I'm not sure if I can share all of. Let me see if I can.
Yeah, so you'd have to go back, hit present, and then you'd share a window or a screen instead of a tab.
Okay.
And then again, just be mindful of what you're sharing.
For sure. All right, let's share this entire screen.
Thank you, Dari. We appreciate that. Always good to see the responses from the folks out there. So definitely let us know what you guys want to see as well.
So, for instance, you guys can see this now, right?
It's not. There we go. It's coming. There we go. All right.
Okay. So I have my Ninja Trader up here. This is and I'm going to do this all in sim.
Sure.
I'm probably confident in this here too, but you can see. So this is one of my setups that I look for. Again, I really want to preface that the way that I trade is very aggressive in my opinion, compared to a lot of, my peers that I believe, and a lot of people who trade. And I don't recommend it for a lot of people because it can, cause a lot of mental, anguish and strain. And like I said, I do a lot of things outside of trading to really like calm myself. And, in the beginning, my heart would always, be beating, and, because I wanted to learn very fast and I wanted to make this work and I wanted to win. So I took big risk, and I found something that works for me. But, my journey, my goals are a lot different than everyone else's. So I want to always preface that this is what works for me. And this is what I'm going to explain to you that made me, what I believe to be.
Yeah, we always have the caveat. This is for entertainment purposes. We want to make sure that people have an idea of what other traders are doing, because everybody's going to connect someplace differently. So we totally for sure get that. I think we lost your Ninja Trader feed right there.
Mm-hmm. You can still see my trading view though, right?
Still got TradingView. Yep, perfect.
For sure. Okay, yeah, I'm bouncing in between each. Okay. So, for instance, here we're seeing NASDAQ, and I'm gonna go back to the trades I took this morning, but I just want to make this as an example. And again, I'm not a professional or anything. This is just, like you said, entertainment purposes, and what I look for and what works for me. Yesterday at 10 a.m. or no, sorry, Friday at 10 a.m. Today's Monday. It's Friday at 10 a.m. We got to a high up here, as you guys can see, at 15,060. 15,060. Now we're approaching that high again. We're seeing this crazy rally on the 5-minute on NASDAQ. So this is something that I'm looking at. We have a lot of fair value gaps down here on the 5-minute. This is rallying like crazy. So, and we had a lot of consolidation and liquidity build up here in on VWAP and what I have marked as equilibrium. And what I'm seeing is that what I would think here is that we're approaching this high. So if I'm going to take a trade here, this is 20 points away from the high of Friday. I wouldn't take a scalp necessarily, right here. I would wait just a little bit longer. If we got a little closer, maybe within 5 points of the high of Friday, I would take a scalp to the downside.
Gotcha.
Or if I see momentum now here start pushing down into these fair value gaps, I will take a scalp to the downside here as well. And again, I'm just trying to take 5 to 10 points out, but you can see here that in the past 5, 10, 15 minutes, we've rallied over 50, 80, about 80 points. So I think I can scalp at least 5 of that back on the retracement or, some type of correction or retest of VWAP before another rally back from this, what I see to be a valid demand, kind of being built here with all this up and down and on VWAP. I like to have VWAP on my charts because I use it like a magnet. When price gets too far away from VWAP, it likes to bounce back and either blast through it or bounce off of it. So since I believe I said 80 to, maybe like 80 to 100 points away from VWAP, we might see a retest of this area of consolidation before we, blast back off, or it could blast right through. But either way, all I'm looking for is some scalps here to the downside. If I see momentum start pushing down, for instance, we have 3.5 minutes left on the 5-minute. If I see this 5-minute candle close red and we don't, hold on, let me zoom in, and we don't break the previous high time, if we don't break the previous 5-minute candles high at all, if we don't even trade above it, then I'm definitely looking for scalps to the downside, because I don't believe the market wants to buy any more up here, or it's exhausted for now. Maybe it wants to come back down even 50% of the move, or all the way back down before blasting back off. But again, this is what I'm thinking. So especially if this 5-minute doesn't close or trade above this last 5-minute high, then that's what I'm thinking in my head. So I'm like a little bit more confident in the shorts. So
sure. And when you're talking about an 80+ point move and you're looking at a retrace that might be all the way, might be half the way, 5 to 10 points, is that narrow margin, which gives you a lot of room for error, as if I'm understanding your strategy correctly. Does that sound about right?
Correct. It gives me a lot of room for error, but it also gives me a lot of opportunity to scalp in and out pretty swiftly and finish the day quickly, which is not necessarily, shouldn't be the goal, to see how fast you can get in and out. But as I've told you, Gates, patience is the number one thing that I battle with myself all the time.
Right.
For instance, this morning I blew 2 apex evaluations just this morning. Like
it happens. Happens to the best of us.
And it's just like, and again, I've blown many accounts at this point, and that's why, for instance, with the strategy that I have and the way that I trade, I'm not afraid. I was having a conversation with a friend the other day who reached out to me over the weekend, and I was saying, like, you've lost so much. I've lost so much. Like, I've lost so much that losing, a trade, hitting my stop loss on a trade doesn't hurt me. It doesn't cause me mental anguish. It doesn't make my heart pump. It's just a loss because yeah. Because
I think that comes down to perspective. Everybody's kind of got their different perspective on what is a significant impact and what is not so much. So, hey man, I don't mean to cut you off. We've got to kind of clean this thing up here and make sure that everybody has an opportunity to get in that giveaway. If you guys have not done so, please make sure you jump in there and get in there so that we can get you in the in that giveaway for the evaluations this week. Michael, man, it has absolutely been a pleasure, as it always is when we get to chat. And I look forward to catching up with you here in short order after we get everything all set up here. Folks, we've got a new show coming back for you next week, Monday, 11 a.m. Eastern time. So make sure that you join us for that as well. And as always, such a pleasure to be here with you guys. And I love the comments in the chat. Keep them coming. I love to try to keep you guys engaged as well. And Chris, Stephen, and Adrian, congratulations. We've got evaluations for you guys. Keep an eye out. You should be getting an email in the next day or so with the instructions on how to get that all set up. And Michael, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you. Thanks for hanging out with me today. As always, love you guys. Appreciate you all. Have a wonderful rest of your Monday, and we will be back with you next week.
Welcome to the Trader Bacon Show, where we showcase every